Hey y'all, welcome back to Poplar Creek Farm. Today is a very cold and snowy Thursday. Typically I work on Thursdays, but someone is sick. My son started out sick over the weekend. Initially we thought he had strep and then it ended up being hand, foot, and mouth, and now she's got it. She's much better today though. This is like the best day so far, so she'll probably go back to school tomorrow. But I've been tired because I may not be sick, but the kids keep me up all night. And so I'm enjoying being home and relaxing and spending it by the fire and being cozy. But one of the things that I've kind of been thinking about, and this is not just being off the past couple days, but in general over the last few weeks, I've been really thinking about next year and what the next step is for us. What the next step is for our farm and for my business and just for that growth. I talked about the big farm expansion, being able to do more gardening and growing up at my parents' land. And obviously we're expanding because we're doing the pigs, and that's a huge growth from previous years. We'll have a lot more meat available. We'll still have meat chickens that we'll do. We'll hopefully expand on the bees depending on how they do our winter. So we have a lot of growth and expansion going on anyways. But it's that next step that I think scares me the most. So I'm at the point of, when do we take that leap? We've talked about how our goal is for me to not be working come spring, being able to focus on my business as well as being able to help my husband focus on his side business that he's doing, because he's still working, so I have to be able to take calls and stuff. So it's one of those things where I feel I'm ready to take the leap and just say, let's do it. Let's not hold back. Let's invest in the business. Let's invest in the farm. Which we're doing, and like I said, we're doing anyways. We have the pigs. We're gonna have breeding stock coming, and so we'll have piglets and all those things. But it's more than that too. It's taking the leap and saying, let's not hold back on spending money on really good quality seeds. Let's really do all the things. I want to grow a lot of produce this year, and I also want to grow flowers. I am not looking to be I am not looking to be a full flower farmer. I really prefer growing produce. But in addition to growing produce, I would like to grow flowers and be able to sell some small bouquets. And it's just an addition to everything else. People always tell me, oh, you want to do too many things. You're doing too many different things, which to some extent, totally true. I do too many different things. But if I didn't, and something fails in my business, so say I'm doing just 3 things, meat, chickens, eggs, bees, honey. If something fails in that, it's a huge blow to my business. Whereas if I am doing multiple things, if one thing fails or doesn't do as well, it's not as big of a hit. So diversifying my business really allows me to make sure that if something isn't doing super well, that I have other, points of revenue that'll offset any kind of lacking. So, and I think that, produce, I feel like no matter what will do well. Produce just does well in my area. And flowers do really well too. So I have a feeling that those two would be really good things anyways, and I would do really well. But I just want to be able to do multiple, and not because I'm totally out of my mind, but it's also keeps things interesting, and not only diversifies the business and makes things more stable, but it also just does bring me a lot of joy and keep things interesting for me. I'm somebody who I like to change it up. I like to do a bunch of different things. I like, obviously, certain things you do every single day on the farm. I feed my animals every single day on the farm. In the summer, I'm in the garden. Maybe not every single day, but most days. But it's still nice to have some change, to be able to do some things different. Like one day, hey, I'm in the produce garden and I'm doing harvesting, and then I'm coming in and doing preserving. The next day I'm in, the flower garden and I'm cutting flowers and I'm figuring out how to do bouquets and I'm weeding and I'm taking care of animals and we're butchering animals and we're checking on the bees. Like there's just many different things that we're doing, and I really enjoy that. So I've been looking a lot at seeds. I have a decent amount of seeds of some bigger things, but I still need some seeds of other things. But flowers is the biggest one I'm like teetering on. I also really considering investing more in equipment. A couple of things I want to invest in, one of them being a row seeder. I had one from my neighbor, and unfortunately it just didn't work super well. It was older, they'd gotten it at an auction, and we couldn't get it to function well. So do I spend $400 or $500 on a seeder? Do I get a single row seeder? Do I get a 5-row seeder, 4-row seeder, 2-row seeder? It's one of those things where I struggle myself I spend a lot of money on my business. I do. So it's not like I'm like totally against spending money on it. But it's when it's those big purchases like that I'm just not 100% sure are going to work that scare me. I've had a lot of people tell me different seeders that work well, and I'm confident in the one that I want to get. But again, it's $400 to $500, and then you have to buy the different seed attachments to make sure that you're able to seed different size seeds. And then the flowers, like flower seeds aren't cheap. And you can't just get a small packet of flower seeds and say that you're going to do cut flowers. You have to get 500 seeds, 1,000 seeds of each variety to be able to have a large quantity, to be able to have bouquets. So it's all those things that I'm really just back and forth on. There is a large investment. There could be a huge return on that investment. And I think this is the year that we see that, or this coming year, 2023 really. Because if I am able to do this full time, I will just have so much more ability to focus on it and to really perfect everything. But it's a scary thing, taking that leap and saying, yeah, I'm going to invest a good amount of money into this business, and I'm going to really push, and I'm going to hopefully see that return. Because it's a hope you see, you're hopefully going to see that return. And that's just a little intimidating, and I've done fairly well with my business, but I want to keep growing and I want to keep expanding. But that takes time and that takes money. And so those two things that's kind of where I'm at. And do I do it? Do I take the leap? I think it'll be worthwhile and I think it'll pay off, but it's scary, that not knowing for sure. And we talk about this with my husband's business too. Like, what if it takes off? Great. But what if it doesn't? It's a very scary place to be, trying to be employed by yourself, employed for yourself, because you are fully responsible. And I mean, I'm fully responsible, and I only have so much control over the markets and so much control over environmental factors, especially, for me, that's a huge one, farming. If it's a really wet year, or if it's a really dry year, or if it's, really hot and humid, or if it's a cooler summer, like there's so many variables. Why you keep going? There's so many variables that can affect my ability to grow and my ability to do well. So there's only so much I can control. Pests are a big one that I can't control much because I do not spray chemicals. That's something that's very important to me, not spraying herbicides and pesticides and just chemicals in my garden, even chemical fertilizers I don't spray. That's just, to me, that's important. So, there's a lot of variables and there's only so much I can do, but I know what I have to do, and I know that I can do everything within my power to make it successful. So what do you guys think? I'd love to know. What do you guys think? Do we take the leap? Do we invest the money? Do we do it? Really say, this is it. We're going to full on do this. We're going to full on farm. Within that farm business, I still do my goat's milk soap, which many people say, oh, how many goats do you have? Well, I don't have any goats. I purchase goat's milk, and I make goat's milk soap. I make beeswax products. I make candles. Those kind of offset, because obviously farming is more spring, summer, even into the fall, but not as much through the winter. But going to craft fairs and things, like I'm not selling meat at craft fairs. It's just not, it's a reality. I'm just not going to sell meat at craft fairs. It just doesn't happen. I can bring it, but it's not going to sell. So having things like the goat's milk soap and the beeswax products and the candles and honey and things to sell at craft fairs is really good. And then again, it gives me that balance, but still hard. And it's one of those things, like, I want to do this so bad, not only for me, and it's not just about the financial portion, but it's about being home with the kids and being able to be there for them more than I can when I'm working off the farm. So that's important to me. Yeah, I want to stay home with this crazy lunatic. So I will keep you guys updated as we kind of progress on this and see where we're at with everything and what we're going to do, what steps we're going to take to move forward with the farm and expand and grow. It's time to help. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. Remember, we're growing today for a better tomorrow. Please like and subscribe and join me on the next one.